Jasen Rood had always been the kind of man who dismissed his own pain. Headaches, nausea, the occasional blackout. None of it had ever sent him to a doctor. But 3 relentless weeks of migraines that tore through his skull like white-hot wire finally forced his hand. He needed answers, and fast. That's what brought him to Hale Medical Institute, an oddly pristine building on the edge of the city. Its glass facade reflected a gloomy, overcast sky, and the silence of its surroundings made him uneasy. No cars in the parking lot. No bustle of patients rushing in and out. Inside, the reception area gleamed with an unsettling sterility. There was a faint antiseptic smell in the air, and a sharp, metallic sweetness clung to Jasen's throat. A receptionist wearing a perfectly ironed uniform looked up, her smile mechanical, her eyes cold. "Mr. Rood? Dr. Vincent Hale will be with you shortly," she said, checking his name on the clipboard. Jasen nodded and sat down on one of the leather chairs in the empty waiting room. There was no television, no conversation, only the low hum of the air conditioner. He rubbed his temples to ease the headache. A door opened. "Mr. Rood?" said a deep, measured voice. Jasen looked up and saw Dr. Vincent Hale, a man whose presence immediately filled the room. Tall, with salt and pepper hair and sharp gray eyes behind his frameless glasses, Hale exuded a confidence that was almost predatory. His white coat was perfectly tailored, the fabric clean and spotless. "Please come with me," Hale said, his voice soft, practiced, almost soothing. The examination room was simple and clinical, the walls lined with neatly arranged instruments. Hale gestured toward the chrome-armed examination chair, gleaming under the harsh light. "Please sit down. I've reviewed your file. Migraines, nausea, occasional dizziness. Have you been diagnosed before?" Jasen shifted uncomfortably. "Yes, that's right. Over-the-counter medications aren't working. I thought maybe it was stress, but..." Hale leaned in and studied him with an unsettling intensity. "Maybe. But stress rarely explains everything. Let's find out." Over the next half hour, Hale conducted a neurological examination that was far from routine. Bright lights were shone into Jasen's pupils. Cold instruments were pressed against his skull, and a strange headset filled with sensors was attached to his head. Hale, her face illuminated by the monitor's faint glow, murmured the measurements to herself. Finally, Hale removed the device and smiled slightly. "Interesting. Your neural activity is quite atypical." Jasen furrowed his brow. "How atypical?" "There's nothing to worry about," Hale said calmly. "But I'd like to perform a more detailed diagnosis in our advanced wing. It'll only take a moment." Jasen hesitated. He hadn't planned to spend the whole day here, but the pain behind his eyes was becoming unbearable. "All right, fine," he said. The diagnostic wing lay beyond a steel door that required Hale's keycard. The corridor beyond was dimly lit, humming with unseen machinery. Hale led him into a cavernous room dominated by a medical scanner unlike anything Jasen had ever seen. "Please lie down," Hale instructed. "The procedure is entirely painless." Jasen climbed onto the padded table, unease crawling up his spine. Mechanical arms adjusted around him with unnerving precision, and a padded brace clicked into place over his forehead. "Relax," Hale murmured from behind a control console. "Breathe deeply." The machine came alive with a low, vibrating thrum. Minutes stretched. Jasen's headache spiked into sharp, blinding pain. "Doctor, it's getting worse," he managed to choke out. Perfect, Hale said softly, more to himself than to Jasen. We're getting excellent readings. Panic flared in Jason's chest. He struggled against the restraints, but they held firm. I need to stop. We're almost finished, Hale replied, voice calm, unyielding. The lights above flickered, and the hum deepened. For a heartbeat, Jasen swore he heard distorted whispers threading through the air, words he couldn't understand. But that felt impossibly close, inside his skull. Then the machine powered down. Hale approached, gray eyes alight with something unreadable. Fascinating, he murmured. You are exceptional, Mr. Rood. Jasen sat up shakily. What the hell does that mean? It means I'd like to keep you overnight for observation, Hale replied smoothly. There are aspects of your condition that require further study. Yeah, no thanks, Jasen said, sliding off the table. I just wanted a diagnosis, not a sleepover. Hale's smile thinned, the warmth draining from his expression. Leaving now would be unwise. Untreated, your condition could lead to catastrophic neurological collapse. Jasen hesitated, heart pounding. I'll think about it. Of course, Hale said, the pleasant mask sliding back into place. A nurse will prepare your room. The patient room was unnervingly sparse. White walls, a narrow bed bolted to the floor, no windows, and a camera mounted high in one corner. When the door clicked shut, Jasen immediately tried his phone. No signal. A meal tray arrived through a slot in the door. Soup, bread, water. Hunger won out over suspicion, but within minutes of eating, exhaustion crashed over him like a wave. No, he muttered, staggering toward the door. His knees buckled, and darkness swallowed him. He woke strapped to a gurney beneath a surgical light, the air thick with antiseptic and something metallic. Blood. Your neural structure is remarkable, Hale said from the shadows, adjusting his gloves. Few patients ever make it this far. What the hell are you doing? Jasen thrashed against the restraints, panic spiking. Relax, Hale murmured. This is the beginning of something extraordinary. You should be honored. No, let me go. Hale studied him with cold fascination. You came to me seeking answers. I'm giving you more than that. Your migraines, your nausea. They're symptoms of evolution, Jasen. You are the next step. He pressed a button, and white-hot pain lanced through Jasen's skull. His scream echoed off the sterile walls. Fractured images flooded his mind, faces contorted in agony, muffled screams, and the ever-present whispers, louder now. Then the pain receded, leaving Jasen gasping, sweat-soaked. Remarkable, Hale whispered, eyes fixed on a monitor. You're ready for phase 2. Hours later, Jasen awoke in a locked observation room. His wrists were free, but the door was sealed. In the corner, a ventilation grate rattled softly. Pressing his ear to it, he heard faint, broken voices. They're using us. Experiments. Don't let him take you. Kill me. A cold, focused terror took hold. He tore the bedsheet into strips, fashioning a rope, and pried at the vent cover until it gave way. The crawl space beyond was narrow, jagged metal scraping his skin as he wriggled forward. Minutes or hours later, he found himself peering through a grate overlooking a corridor. Below, Hale spoke to 2 orderlies. The subject's readings are beyond anything we've recorded, Hale said, his tone feverish. Tomorrow we initiate phase 2. Prepare the lower lab. The others, dispose of them. Jasen's stomach lurched. The whispers were real. Those voices belonged to people who would soon be gone. He pressed on, finally emerging into a storage room. Grabbing a scalpel, he slipped into the hall, moving through dim, sterile corridors bathed in emergency light. In the archives, he found rows of patient files, each marked status terminated, among them Rood, Jasen. Retention mandatory. Extraction scheduled 7 a.m. His pulse thundered. They were going to kill him in hours. A blaring alarm split the silence. Hale's voice echoed over the intercom. Mr. Rood has breached containment. Initiate lockdown. Jasen bolted, orderlies in pursuit. He slammed into a locked steel door marked Surface Access. A keypad blinked at him. In desperation, he smashed it, sparks flew, and the door hissed open. Cold night air hit him like a shockwave. He was outside. Jasen gasped as he burst out of the clinic, the cold night air burning his lungs. Behind him, the imposing building seemed alive with secrets, the horrors he barely escaped still echoing in his mind. He ran without direction, desperate for safety. But when he reached a gas station, the familiar cold voice stopped him in his tracks. Mr. Rood, Dr. Vincent Hale emerged from the fog, his gray eyes glowing with unnatural intensity. "You shouldn't have run," Hale said calmly. "You don't understand what's happening to you." Jasen shook his head. "I'm not going back." Hale smiled, thin and cruel. "You are no longer just a patient. You're something beyond." Jasen stumbled back, horror growing. "What do you mean?" "You carry the future of human evolution inside you," Hale said. "I can unlock your potential, but it requires sacrifice." "No," Jasen said, voice trembling but defiant. "I'm done being your lab rat." The fight that followed was fierce but short. Jasen's desperation fueled his strength. He broke free and vanished into the night. In the days after, Jasen discovered terrifying changes within himself. His senses sharpened, his reflexes quickened. His eyes, once brown, now flickered with the same cold gray as Hale's. He was evolving, against his will. Yet with this power came dark whispers, a voice in his mind, urging him forward, promising knowledge and control. Determined to end Hale's twisted experiments, Jasen returned to the clinic under cover of darkness. The place was deserted. Abandoned machines blinked silently. Files lay scattered, revealing years of cruel experiments. Suddenly, Hale appeared, calm, inevitable. "This is the final phase," Hale said. "You cannot escape your destiny." Jasen faced him down, fear replaced by fierce resolve. Using the powers forced upon him, he fought back, breaking Hale's hold and exposing the clinic's horrors to the world. Now, hunted and changed forever, Jasen lives in the shadows, a man caught between humanity and something else. And sometimes, when the migraines return, so do the whispers.